Allow me to reintroduce myself. Allow me to reintroduce myself. Allow me to reintroduce myself. My name is
the Late Open Conversation Show. I want to introduce my co-hosts. My name is Mark Five of Open Conversation. I apologize for the delay. With everything that goes on behind the scenes, if y'all only know, we're going to do a reality show. What goes on behind Open Conversation Show and how Mark loses his mind. So, I would like to introduce my co-hosts so we can get started. I don't want to talk too long because we're already running late. Welcome to Open Conversation Show, the new season. If you joined us before on the other radio stations and through our Ustream, Sadior, LLC, and also on YouTube, Sadior, LLC, you know how we get down here at Open Conversation. I have new family members that's co-hosts to the team that I would like to introduce now. First, I want to introduce somebody that's an original member of Open Conversation. It's the same because I had notes, but I'm going to freelance it. She's an original member of Open Conversation, but she never rocked with us because she was so busy. So now we have the great pleasure of having Quebec cover girl to the show. I'm gonna talk about the intro songs. And I do it 1,008 times again. And all right, next I want to introduce the other female. First, let me tell everybody real quick before I introduce her. Miss Darkchild is still part of the conversation, so let's cut the rumors out because she's not here today because she gets the pleasure of being on a ship right now for the past week. So next month when we shoot Open Conversation, she will be in the building. So that squashes the rumors real quick. Because I've been asked, is Darkchild still part of the show? Which I'm wondering why they asked that if she's on a flyer, but you know, that's just people. Next, I want to introduce the other lady that's joining Open Conversation. You've seen her on the past shows. She's been a guest probably too many times that she should have been a host on the show, but Tanea to the show. She will be. You rewind that. You come back out and you get some rhythm this morning, but you gotta.
No,
you know what I mean?
Money, power, respect. Respect that I'm tired right now.
Point taken because you heard it night also, so I know the feeling. Next, Simply D's running late also. The main host that been on the show that y'all used to, so I'm giving y'all some new flavor in the beginning of the new season. Also, I want to introduce the other male partner of mine. Y'all know him because he's been on the show also a lot. And he should have, well, he is like part of the show. Mr. Kev Johnson.
Yo, what's up, people? That's right. That's right. Turn.
We looking at ourselves, so look. Early in the
Talk to me, what you gonna take this walk with me, just looking for the spark with me, when you open up your heart to me, talk to me, have an open conversation, sit down, have an open conversation, gather round, have an open conversation, hands down, talking to down, I've been leaving alone, let's have an open conversation, sit down, have an open conversation, gather round, have an open conversation, hands down, talking to down, I've been on the phone and call, talk to my sisters, brothers, sisters, mothers, kisses, and brothers, distant, lovers, wifeys.
Leave it up to DJ Manny Strong to have that echo mix at the end. That was hot. We gotta record that. So also I want to send a shout out real quick to the people behind the scenes that been rocking with me from day one. Cameraman Chris, the brother that y'all know from the radio station, Mr. Devon behind the scenes. Also, I want to say thank you to Miss Almina, which also does the administrative to help me out when I'm really stressing. And also a new member to the team, Sheree, well, she probably thought I was gonna call her Sheree, but her name is Sheree. I want to thank her also for coming. And I got my man sitting in watching everything that goes on behind the scenes, Mr. Yusuf. So now what I want to do real quick, because I know they're standing on the side and everybody's ready to jump into the topic and get started. I want to introduce my guests for the first time that we're live streaming on Facebook, but we're also live streaming with Ustream also. Just go to ustream.com, search Sadior, it's Sadior LLC, and you'll be able to see us either way, Facebook or Ustream. And if you missed some of the show, you can go to YouTube like usual, search Sadior LLC and watch all the past radio shows, all the future shows, and this show right here. Now, let's get started. Now, I'm so sleepy, I forgot how I was going to introduce y'all, but I'm going to just go with the flow. On my right, I want to introduce Miss, and she's been part of the Open Conversation shows in the past, and she's been on the Women's Empowerment Circle, and I've used some of her sayings and made little clips. Miss West Philly.
Hi, people.
Now, and on my left side of the table, I want to introduce a gentleman. He's been on one of our radio shows and rocked out, so we invited him to be on our first live stream show. And I'm not going to call him Fliz, because that's his advertisement name, as he say. Mr. Floyd. Very much. And now I'm gonna go back to my right. This gentleman I have so much respect for because his entertainment business, I think this is why I stay in it, because he's very inspiring and inspirational. Mr. Dennis McFadden.
Thank you. Let's go. Give me up. What's up, y'all?
And back to my left, a female that I've met probably, I think it's been a little over a year, that's working, which I'm gonna make sure everybody tell you what they do before we get started. She's working and she's been open conversation a lot of times. There's not one time that I called her to come on the show that she did not come. Miss Diva. Now, what I want to do real quick before we get into the topic, which the topic we're going to discuss today is some of the issues that interrupt a relationship, which is going to be very interesting because there's so many different ways we can hit this. I want to come from the right side and have Mr. Dennis McFadden introduce himself real quick and a little bit about what you do outside of sitting here this morning with Open Conversation.
Okay. Hello, fans, friends, family. My name is Dennis McFadden. I've done some independent producing, some independent publishing. Currently, professionally, I'm a facility manager for a Fortune 500 company. But I love doing music. We've been doing music. I've been working with Mark since we were back in elementary school, I guess, early high school, growing up in the projects and doing what we do. So I'm really glad to be here to support him and open conversations and hope to meet some new friends and do some new things for the new year.
Next, Ms. West Philly.
Hi, everyone. I'm West Philly, also known as Nafisa. I work for this lovely establishment that we're hosting in today. It's called Resource Human Development, and I am the National Employee Resource Manager. It is a very new position to me, but I love it because it puts me in a position to connect with a variety of individuals, different backgrounds, different cultures from 14 different states and growing. Thanks for having me.
Our pleasure. Mr. Floyd.
Hi everybody, my name is Floyd Devine. I'm the owner of Virgo Mobile Technologies, where we offer computer repair and mobile networking We're located in the North Philadelphia area, and we're happy to be here.
Miss Eva.
Hi, I'm Diva Gordon. I am the owner, writer, director, and producer of Diva Entertainment, of theater and film in the city of Philadelphia and stretching all the way out to New York. I'm glad to be here. I've been here quite a few times, and it's a pleasure to get an opportunity to meet new people in the business and continue to communicate and socialize with those that I meet.
Now, Mr. Kev Johnson. Yeah, I'm putting y'all out there. Look. What you do, Kev? Put it down. I gotta know what.
Oh, what I do? Listen, I am a retired installer for Verizon. All those trucks that I used to be on, just about all those trucks you see running around the cities. Right now, I'm studying philanthropy. You gotta give back. You can't go through life with catcher's mitts on both hands. You gotta give back. And also an aspiring author. I write poems and short stories, so I'm looking to go worldwide with that. Anyway, next.
I'm supposed to be there? Oh,
Mr.
hey.
Fetch. Cover girl.
Cover Girl has actually changed. Cover Girl is now Natural Girls Rock. Just want everybody to know that. Cover Girl has changed to Natural Girls Rock, okay? So Natural Girls Rock is actually an event planner. We are extraordinary events in the Philadelphia area, and we source all kinds of events from weddings to bridal showers to baby showers, any kind of party favor you want, any kind of decorating you like, we can do it. That's who we are.
That's who you are?
That's who we are.
That's who you are?
Miss
Yeah, good morning.
So my name is Tanea. I have an adult toy company. It's called Tanea's Toy Treasures. I've been in business for about 10 years now. I basically do home parties as well as personal orders. And about 3 years ago, I've started women empowerment events where we have like vendors and games, prizes, giveaways, masseuse, food, everything you can imagine. So that is what I do. So if you need to satisfy yourself, give me a call.
Satisfy yourself.
Or your mate, or somebody else.
Or your mate.
Anybody.
Look.
Somebody.
Everybody.
Yeah,
We taking orders while we online. So our 22 viewers, thank you for joining us. Definitely share this live stream. We're about to get into it. Some of the issues that interrupt a relationship. And I am Mark Five. I am the creator of Sadior Business Management Services, also artist, photographer, and a whole bunch of other stuff. I also work for Stepdad at night, so this is, my evening. So if I'm kind of overhyped, this is my afternoon. So let's get into the topic. Some of the issues that interrupt a relationship. Don't nobody get quiet now.
Let's not get started.
So you got look.
Hey, listen.
Without no context.
Okay. What I really need to know point blank, and I'm asking everybody out there in La La Land as well as right here, because this is Shangri-La right here. Is there a convoluted line between independence and interdependence within the relationship? This is something that just bothers me from no end. Why is it that independence from either standpoint, male or female, does not translate to interdependence within the relationship? Anybody got any answers?
I can't say it's an answer for that, but it is an issue. It's a serious issue, but it comes down to compromise. When you're alone and you're independent, the idea of getting into a relationship is being able to join. And you can't join being independent. You have to have some kind of compromise with the person that you're getting into a relationship with. It becomes a blend. So if you want to remain independent, it's not going to work.
You know what? It's funny because I was just talking about this today on Facebook with my BD Darcel. Shout out to Darcel. But basically, one of the things that I find is when you're independent and you talk to guys, they already figure you have it already. You got it already. If something happens, you can handle it. And that's not always true. And it can be true, and I probably can handle it, but if you're my partner, what's wrong with you offering and saying, you know what, babe, I got this for you. You don't have to worry about this. This is one less stressor that you have to worry about because that's what I'm here for, to help you. So I agree with what you're saying, like, we have to help each other in relationships. It's not about one person. I tell people all the time, I don't want to be that woman that's like, oh, I'm independent. No, I want to be dependent. I want to be able to depend on who I'm with. It's a 50-50 thing. Like, we should be able to depend on each other. So we were just talking about that earlier.
And I hear that, and I can agree with that. But the sentiment I'm trying to get to is the independence that we walk with all the time. You know, I got my house, I got my car, I got my clothes, I got all that. Once you meld with someone in the relationship, when does interdependence actually take hold? I mean, should it be at the start? Should it be in the middle? Is it somewhere that, you know, you have to tell the person right up front, like, yo, listen, I'm with you, but there are times that you're going to have to carry me.
Just when that trust is built. You're not going to let down that wall until that trust is there, that you can trust that person with you, that they're not going to fail you. You understand what I'm saying? You're not going to let go of that independence and the strength that you have held on so long that have kept you afloat. In the very beginning, when you first meet somebody and you don't know that much about them, you can't trust them yet.
Oh, no,
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's when that's when it begins, is when your trust begins.
Now, here's part two of the question. Do people really know the difference between the two? Between independence and interdependence?
I think it's a blurred line here, trying to understand between the two. I find that, you know, in relationships that people try to maintain their identity, and it's really an identity crisis that's happening with a situation like that. It's a situation where, you know, I've been this type of way for this amount of time, and these are the things, these are my quirks, these are my things that make me tick and work. And sometimes those are not acceptable things to people over time. So when you find yourself being independent, that's a very important thing for people, you know.
Let me piggyback on that. Because when you are setting your ways for women and men, you're normally setting your ways, but just like she said, that's where the trust begins to, you know, take in. When you start dating someone, when you start getting to know that person, and there are things that you're so used to doing, and that person is just doing it for you, and it becomes like, oh, I can trust this person with paying my bill, or I can trust this person with my heart. I can trust this person with my emotions. I can trust this person with whatever it is that I think I can trust him with. That's when interdependence becomes a part of your relationship. And I mean, it may be something that's discussed, and it may not be something that's discussed, but as a woman, when we feel that we can let go and let our guard down and give that to a man, that's when we feel like, you know, I may can trust him a little bit. That's when we feel like, you know, I can let my independence go a little bit so that he can take over.
And just to add on that, we also don't feel like we should have to tell you, like, you know, when you have to tell somebody, well, do this for me, or you're supposed to do that. That's not us trusting you, because we still have to guide you to what you have to do for us. Like, I feel like a man is just want to step up and get it done, not have to be told to do it. Some men don't know how to.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
Some men don't know how. Some men, catch this, some men have been guided their whole lives. So they don't know how to step up and guide the woman. Because somebody else been guiding them.
I have a problem with
And the person that may have been leading them may not have been leading them in the right direction. And have given, you know, giving them false truths, and have also not giving them a very good example of a true real woman.
Right.
And what a true real woman respectfully does. So when it comes to them interacting with a real woman of respect that's deserving of those treatments, they don't know what to do.
Right.
You know what I mean? So sometimes you have to talk with them, sometimes you have to guide them in a certain way. But at the same time, it shouldn't become like an elementary class situation where you're constantly saying, I need this, I need you to do that, because that's an issue too.
Right.
Because then he's gonna feel like less than.
Right.
And plus, that's building me, and nobody got time for that.
Thank you.
Well, I think there's so many devices.
Build a man. That's a new word. Build a man.
I think there's so many devices socially now that takes that relationship away from men and women. You know, the woman be independent, you know, do your own thing, you can pay your own rent, you can buy your own car and all this other stuff. And those things affect relationships, short-term and
They
long-term.
do.
Because if you believe the hype, then it will affect you.
It will.
It will.
It will. Because sometimes it even makes a man feel less than. Like some men, I don't want to speak for myself, some men are intimidated to talk to me because they think that I'm so independent.
There you go. I was gonna say
I'm
that.
a teddy bear. Like talk to me. Say I'm very emotional.
So
You
hold
know
up.
what I'm saying?
So
What
hold
I'm
up.
saying? Like men, I mean, some men
Let me
may
ask
be
something.
intimidated to get involved with strong women. You know what I'm saying? Until they get to know the woman. But it's like some men are too emotional to deal with that independent woman. So they can never take over for her and be that man that she really needs them to be.
I beg to differ on that sometimes.
Oh,
DJ Manny Story, that's good.
The reason I beg to differ is because
here we go.
when you're in a relationship with an independent woman, quote unquote, they have to learn how to stop saying mine.
This is true.
Because if I'm going to build a relationship with you, it should be ours, us.
This is true.
See, and then women ask for men to do certain things on the term of it being theirs. So men get lackadaisious and we'll say, well, if it's yours and you're so independent,
You do it.
then you do it.
Right.
So it goes both ways. And then I was always taught, a closed mouth don't get fed. It's not that a man don't know. If you don't say anything, he believes that you're independent enough to do it yourself. And it's not that chivalry is dead. It's just the fact that you poke your chest out. You're independent.
Let's not go there though. We're not gonna go to the
But
chivalry
I mean,
part. They got nothing to do with it.
No,
No, chivalry interferes with
Chivalry
relationships.
can interfere with a
But
relationship.
my whole thing is be observant. Like, that's a part of a relationship too. I shouldn't have to tell you that things need to be done all the time.
you shouldn't have to, but if you're still sitting on the king's throne, telling the king what to do, two kings can't be in the house.
So that makes you not a king when I gotta tell you what to do. I'm a
Exactly,
king.
exactly. So, and so
But
many
see,
words,
I think-
no disrespect,
but
you
I
have
think-
to sit in the, you have to sit in the cut and actually shut up
I think the flip
and
side
let it
of
run
it
its
is
course.
it's really called dating. When
I
you
was gonna
begin
say,
to get to know your mate.
Courting.
Courting is important because if you don't learn what it is that your mate needs, your mate wants, your mate desires, your mate likes, your mate dislikes, then you can never please your mate. Because you're so busy doing what it is that you like, how I like it, how I want it, where I want it, when I want to do it, how I want to do it, because this is what I want to do. Wrong answer. It ain't gonna never work. He ain't gonna like it. You gonna be mad because he don't like it. He gonna go cheat. This gonna happen. That gonna happen. Y'all gonna be a mess.
But a lot of that could be avoided.
I mean, that's part of interrupting the relationship.
She could be on him or her.
Him or her. That's what I'm saying.
So
But
that's,
if you don't get to know the person that you're with, if you don't get to know that person and understand what it is that they desire from you in a relationship, or things that they don't know, things that he may not have ever been taught to open the door for a woman.
so it seems like a lot of us come from like the old school of dating where courting was around.
Yes.
These folks nowadays,
They're
they're not
it.
doing that. I
Nah.
meet you and I'm having sex
That's
with you.
it. That's
and
it.
I'm in love with you.
That's it.
And I've fallen in love with a person and I have no idea
Who they are.
It's
And
called
then
Netflix and chill.
Exactly. And so Netflix and chill is producing these babies who
Yeah.
will repeat history and we're
Yeah.
gonna find ourselves in the same
That's it
cycle
right there.
our children are in now.
Okay,
But even with that though, right? We often put false expectations on each other.
Yeah.
We often say, I expect you to do this. I expect you to pay a bill. But we never take the time to have that conversation with a person to say what I expect up front. I like to treat my relationships like an interview, right? I'm asking you, you gay? You ever been gay? You ever thought about having sex with a man? When the last time you was HIV tested? You know, like, are you good to your kids? How many kids you got? Like, there's a whole list of questions. And even after we get past that list, I'm now in watch mode. You got 90 days to show me that you are the man you projected to be, or is it the representative I met? I need to know the difference, because everybody got a representative. And so I think, and I'm not knocking whoever has sex, like that ain't my deal. My deal is, before you allow love to come in, there should be some time where you really allow situations to happen and see how that person is gonna respond to the situation. Is this the type of brother that when a fire break out, he like, babe, I got you, hit the exit, or are you like, babe, I got you, let's hit the exit? You know, like you should know what you're dealing with, and I think that's one of, in my mind, that's the key that's missing, is that initial communication. It's sex and then love. It can't be sex and love. There has to be communication ongoing. When you do something that I disapprove of, instead of me harboring on it or being passive aggressive, that thing a lot of women do, I don't really get that. I need to be upfront. Hey,
I ain't like that.
this morning I wasn't feeling that. Now, not that I want to argue with you and set the day off and you got to go to work bad because I don't believe in sending your man out to make his money and he mad. No, don't do that, because some of that money coming back. You don't want to mess that up. But just I want you to be thinking about when we move forward, I'd like for you not to talk to me like that, right? Simple conversation.
And you know what? And what you were saying is absolutely correct. But this is another issue. People have issues with communication. They don't know how to communicate.
It is so
That's
easy.
That's the number. Communication is the number one factor in any relationship.
We spend more time talking to our girlfriends and our girlfriends and our aunts and uncles instead of talking to the person we lie in bed with, which don't make sense. I never understood going outside of a relationship to get advice about you. They can't tell you about the person you have an issue with. Only the person you have the issue with could tell you about the issue.
Well, real quick, I want Kev, me and Kev had a conversation. And Kev, after this, I want you to jump off, piggyback off what I'm going to say about this women saying men are kings in relationships. Yeah, you know I was going there, because we talk about women putting so-called kings on a pedestal where they don't even have their own house. They don't have anything that a king's supposed to have. So, go ahead, Kev. I just wanted to start that off so I can, I'll throw you the ball.
Okay. There's been as far as I'm concerned, there's been a very large swell of the term king and queen between men and women all of a sudden as far as the household is concerned. Even in the smallest of relationships, I'm looking for my king. She's my queen. All right. I saw a message on, and shout out to my daughter, Connie. Anyway, I saw a message on her board one day, and I couldn't respond on the page, but what I put down was plain and simple. Women need to stop this nonsense about looking for their king. Number one, first of all, if he don't have a place of his own, or wherever he's staying, if he don't have a bill coming there in his name, if it's not coming there in a business name where he pays taxes, state, local, federal, whatever, if he don't have a plant, a cat, dog, or fish bowl, that ain't no damn king. Excuse me.
No, that's all right.
Okay, but that's not a king. First of all, you need to have loyal peasants, underlines, people that look up to you, whether it be children, whether it be neighbors or co-workers. You need to have some type of following. Why is it that we're so enamored with giving out these titles to people that don't deserve them? And then you put yourself in a situation where it's not deserving of you. You kill yourself, you wreck yourself. You go, oh, I'm running home, man, I gotta get my queen. Your queen ain't doing nothing. She ain't even a princess.
Now, real quick, on that note, I just want to say shout out to all our viewers, Miss Jones, Miss Rayfield, Miss Long, Miss Ross, and Miss Payne. We're going to take a quick break. We're going to cut this video. We're going to be back up in the next couple minutes. DJ Manny Strong, you ready? Take it away. Wait for you to stop.
That's good.
Listen.
Not to be out there proud.
I'm point blank.